Ton actually could be an option that EVOS Glory can pick for themselves. You know, they already have a lot of physical damage right now. They need magical, and from the looks of it, with the Valentina and Lilia ban, they might want to put the Angela in mid. So the Ton could provide the magical damage that they need in their composition right now. Let's see if RRQ read it out. They've already read one magic damage dealer, Harith, out. Will they go for the Natan as well and then force a physical damage marksman duel in the gold lane?
I mean, that is possible, right? Yesterday, Clockun did pick up the Angela in the mid lane. So with the carry being taken out by RRQ, no mage?
Right, I mean, that's why the Natan does make sense. First pick, though, is going to be the Brody, so not that. Will RRQ go for it, though? Especially in that matchup against the Brody. I feel like it's not the worst of matchups, but it is pretty tough against any kind of Brody that does know how to extend or push his advantage in the laning phase. With the Mathilda, though, maybe they're willing to take that risk.
Bruno and Vexana is still open up until this point. Do you think that RRQ may want to pick it up for themselves?
I think the Vexana, I think they will have no issue. I think it works well over here. Provided they take the sprint, though. I feel like if Octa goes for the Flicker or the Purify, won't be enough against this kind of composition. It just runs you down. You need to be able to just keep up, right? And run away from this danger.
So what are we waiting for?
Oh!
Okay, completely different here. Paramis and Bruno is their choice in for RRQ. And now we're going to take a look at the last pick coming in from EVOS. Drum roll.
Drum roll. They need either a roam or a mage. It really depends where the Angela is going. If they go for roam, do they want to go for something like a Minotaur here up against this dive?
Is Ruby still? No, Ruby's banned.
Yeah.
Minotaur or Vexana? Oh, Tigreal. Okay, so it's going to be a mid lane Angela. Yeah, as predicted. They're going for the Tigreal to try and punish the clumping composition of RRQ, trying to get full benefit out of that Netherrealm. It checks out logically. If that happens, you know, big implosion into a Furious Dive, that could be catastrophic for RRQ. That's a big if, though.
But again, no magic damage, save for Angela from the side of EVOS Glory. It feels a little one-dimensional in terms of damage source. I think RRQ will be able to deal with it very quickly. And I do believe that's a big disadvantage from EVOS.
Yeah, it is, man. We'll see how they're able to utilize this composition, though, because yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, Clockun went for Holy Crystal on this Angela. So there's a bit of magic damage there, and that's what they are relying on now. For RRQ, a more balanced composition, though, for damage. And even when it comes down to this team fighting with that Paramis, they're a tanky lineup.
Can EVOS Glory force a third game in this best-of-3 series in the Classic Derby? Or will RRQ retain history and once again prove that they are the conquerors of the White Tigers? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 as we jump into the Land of Dawn.
You're already seeing Annabelle with the clear advantage right here. The jungle needs to stay strong right there because he is responsible for dealing damage as well with the true damage, Annabelle. But look at the battle spells, man. Knowing the win condition, the fact that they're going to be clumping together and potentially comboed 3 Purifies on the side of RRQ because they do have the Mathilda for the repositioning.
Exactly.
It all kind of works out.
That is so difficult to catch. EVOS, they're banking on that fact. So it's already bad enough that they have the Mathilda, but now they have the Purify to boot. So that's double the layer of protection, not to mention the photo later on.
All right. Already Dream's trying to get aggressive plays around. Octo on the Paramis, we haven't seen it as often. One of Will's at all, actually.
At all.
So we'll have to see. Can he make the right plays in the right time? Now, Clockun
flickers out to safety, able to get out.
Right, let's take a look at the emblems though. Agility for Fluffy. It's actually the same setup that he uses on the Paquito earlier. He wants to be around the map. Look at Brusco. Not as aggressive as the Arlet, but if you look at his emblems, he's trying to go fast and have as many spells available as possible. Wilderness Blessing and Inspire. So utility is the name of the game for RRQ, and they're relying on just 1 or 2 people to really output that damage.
Yeah, he really wants to be able to utilize the Guiding Wind as much as possible in order to weave in and weave out of these team fights. And EVO's Legends, that's exactly what they don't want, right? Because they're relying heavily on their resource. But once their resources are taken off, that's when RRQ can actually go in for the re-engage when they do enter these team fights. Brusco already circling up here in the top side of the map. Octa as well. It looks like a fight is about to ensue.
Ooh, in the bottom lane as well. Might be a solo kill here in that bot side. There's a Black Dragon form used up by Fluffy. Onto the back with a Petrify and also an Implosion. No Purify used up already. It's going to be a good NetherRealm that saves them for now. Brusco with the Purify earlier. And even down below, it's Skylar with the Purify and the Recall. Evo's Glory on this turtle as the Mathilda recalls back.
I must say, that's a great play by EVOs to really burn out all the resources. But they also used the Black Dragon form as well as the Hard Guard. So both teams really back away from it, waiting for the next opportunity for plays to come. And I feel like without that surprise factor, the fact that EVOs went for it so aggressively, RRQ does have the advantage. Unless, of course, they're moving towards the bot side. Brusco sneakily moving away to the gold lane to try and get something there for Skylar.
Yeah, it does look like there's a difference in priorities right now for RRQ. They don't want to do this head first. It looks like Irad is a level below Anvil right now. I don't know if they want to go for the 50-50. Turns out Brusco is coming back on top. Turtle already very low.
Shield Unity and an Implosion from Dreams. Annabelle will be able to win this out with a Furious Dive on it too. Right into the Spear of Alpha, and they get shredded down. Dawn trying to run away with a Brave Smite as well. Able to bounce off, but Annabelle will not decide to chase it down. They will just be happy with the Turtle.
That's Irad taken down and a Turtle, so a big win for EVO's Glory.
Like you said, Eterna, Irad was a level down, but they still went for it despite not really being in position. And even one of their biggest strengths, the repositioning. Oh, Brusco though goes in.
Circling Eagle, but a defensive Spear of Alpha from Annabelle to get out. Flockhun just dealing a bit more damage over to Irad, and then chooses to back away. Brusco though is here with the help of Octa. Forces a Flicker out from Flockhun in the bottom lane. 1v1 in the lane continues. So far, Natco has been able to get the better of Skylar.
I was about to just mention the fact that Brusco on the Mathilda, RRQ hasn't really been playing around this guiding wind as efficiently as they could. In fact, when the Mathilda arrived to that fight earlier, the guiding wind was on cooldown, I believe. So that's something they can fix, right? Because they went with all the Purifies, knowing that they can rely on that guiding wind. So when it's used and where it's used will be so important for Brusco to decide before the fight even happens.
4 minutes in, 5 minutes in. A 2.5k gold lead for EVOs so far. We'll take a look at the disparities in items in just a bit.
And mainly, the Flash of the Oasis finished for Flockhun. That means that the fights are going to be really difficult for RRQ to come on top of, because they can survive and sustain from the damage themselves, but the damage output will be so limited, especially with the two main damage dealers, the CC and the Bruno, still pretty weak on items, right? One item isn't really enough.
Top though, Vengeance already from Dawn, and it's Fluffy with the help of Flockhun up top to pick up a kill on Dawn. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that turret. Flockhun staying there because he has the Hard Guard, will be the one split pushing in this game.
Now Dawn off the board. Looks like Bruce was going to go for an engage.
Circling Eagle over to Dreams. Flicker out to safety. Defensive Flicker, but Irad has used the Poisons. Fluffy on the mid lane. And the tier 1 up top taken down by the Angela.
That's just it. We can see now EVOs, they don't exactly commit onto this objective though, but Angela's still pushing, Flockhun's still pushing in for maybe another turret if RRQ don't answer this.
Just dancing around for now, as the Angela hasn't really been able to touch that turret too much yet, fortunately for RRQ, but they're going to be forced to make a move soon. And their engage, once again, is either a circling Eagle or a Shield Unity. Both very telegraphed, very obvious, and very punishable by the Tigreal. Octa does have the Necklace of Durance, so the fights are going to be a bit more even, but the Black Dragon form gets popped.
Again, Natco a bit off position. A Purify, but it's going to be late! Natco utilizing that position to actually punish an overextending Brusco. Fluffy jumping in, Petrify, Furious Dive. Octa forced to Purify out of that with the Shadow Stampede. Annabelle, Spear of Alpha to disengage. And EVOs have a 5k gold lead over RRQ.
I mean, we knew that EVOs are going to be stronger in the early game, but they're really pushing the advantage. And RRQ, despite having the tools to survive, they're not really getting forced into team fights. They're getting forced into weird skirmishes by the weird macro pressure that the Angela brings to the table. So now, instead of having great solutions for big combos, they're just losing it out because they can't save individual members in time.
And the problem is, even if they wanted to send some resources up towards the top side to deal with the Angela, then they would have a bigger disadvantage when it comes down to the Lord fight, Turtle fight. And with the mid side already taken down, the mid side turret, this means that EVOs have even more room and leeway to roam around the map, rotate, and create even more pressure on all 3 lanes of the map.
Looking at damage dealt though, Octa is actually all the way on top, even higher than Fluffy and everyone else. And that's with a rush to the Necklace of Doings. So with a few more items, he's actually going to be dealing very significant damage. But that's if RRQ can last long enough from the onslaught. Like 6.5k gold behind at 8 minutes, that's quite significant.
It's not the greatest position at all, nor situation at all to be in if you were RRQ. But in the late stage of the game, is there a mid power spike we're looking for from RRQ? Is there some hope and saving grace for them?
I think for sure in the late game, they will have an advantage. On top of the fact that the Faramis does have the passive, they'll have more ways to really stay in a fight, and the DPS from the side of EVOs is a bit lacking, right? It's more towards the burst side of things.
Wow. Try to go for a pick on Clockun. You can hear the from the crowd too as Clockun gets out. He's recalling too. I like the taunts here from Clockun in game number 2. Annabelle soloing the Lord. I guess this is an advantage that you have when you have an alpha on your team. Crazy clear speed. 2 levels ahead now of Irad.
In the item department though, Irad has picked up the Antiquus, so it's going to be a lot tankier. Items are just what they need, man. RRQ, I think going for a trade there was the right call. Unfortunately, unable to get the Angela. I feel like they should really try and get gold when they can by farming. Because if you look at EVOs, they're splitting up quite a bit in order to really deny that farm.
Natko winning nature. Now, with the torn apart memory, flickering out to safety. Brusco is very low. Nako has to have the hard guard, but Dreams gets taken down. Now it's Nako who's trying to run away, but also kiting them in the process. Skylar sliding tackle, Annabelle zoning them from this turret. EVOs have lost their roamer, but they are able to get a tier 2 turret off of that play.
8k gold lead. 8k gold lead for the White Tigers now in the 10th minute of the game. It looks like they're starting to look for more in the mid lane, looking for more pressure. Do they get the turret? The Lord is still marching on the top side. RRQ, can they try to deny the inhibitor takes coming in from EVO's Glory?
I think they can. For EVOs, they do have that advantage. Having a Brody means that it's very easy for you to really do some damage with a limited window of time against turrets. But for RRQ, it's the first Lord. They do have decent damage, and they can deny a big dive with the Netherrealm. It hasn't been really working for RRQ out in the open, but under a base turret, that Netherrealm will, I think, be enough to really buy a lot of time and force EVOs to take needless damage from the turrets. That is what they're relying on right here to really defend. As you can see, they can't really leave the base.
They can't. The game fact here by GoPay, Baxia became one of RRQ's winning heroes in MPL ID Season 12 with an 81.82% win rate from 11 picks, even securing a 3-win streak in week number 1. However, in MPL ID Season 13, RRQ's Baxia has a 50% win rate from 4 picks. What's going on the stage?
I have no idea.
Well,
yeah, the crowd's getting hyped for something.
What are they getting hyped over? I'm curious.
I think they're just yelling at each other right now.
Are they taunting each other?
I think they are taunting each other.
Their Indonesian counterparts are egging them on, like, yeah, go on, keep going, keep going.
Or maybe. Octa, Stampede, EVO's Glory with an attempt, but it will only remain an attempt.
EVO's for sure is feeling the clock tick, man. In these moments, without the Lord, without anything to really pull RRQ out, they're stuck really trying to find ways to punish. Because again, in the late game, I feel like they have things to be concerned about as well, as Skylar picks up the Malefic Roar already at a 3-item power spike. So not the endless battle we saw earlier, it's gonna be the Malefic Roar to try and go against all these beefy fighters.
They're playing it so patiently now.
They're waiting for 12-minute as well. They want to get an enhanced Lord. They want to crack this base open.
I like they need to, right? It's not that just they want to. And with the macro pressure already doing its job, RRQ, this is a strategy, if you can call it that we've seen a lot in the previous seasons. When you have a Paramis, you just stay in the base. And even if you lose the Lord, eventually, right, the fact that you can deny a full-on dive will allow you to catch up. But when they are 10k, almost 11, it might be 11 by the time EVOS makes the push, 10k gold behind used to be the threshold of gold where it doesn't even matter if you make a small mistake, right? The gold difference can cover for it. So we'll see if EVOS can make that happen, because remember, the Waves and the Lord was changed to be a bit better at really cracking open a base.
And it's a little bit harder for teams that are on the losing end, quote unquote, to go for a comeback. And with a 10k gold difference, it's looking quite bleak in for RRQ. What do they do?
Well, for everybody back at home, they can go and put in the promo code right now. GoPay Gamers on the GoPay app.
I think a big issue right now for RRQ as well is that the only real front line is going to be Irad. Dawn on the CC is still relatively squishy, and now EVOS makes their move.
Mid lane going to be dealt with, but they concede the top lane base turret. Octa getting shot once. And that's the amount of damage that Nako has within his arsenal right now. They have a lot of sustain still, though. Certainly Ego over to Nako. Only going to get chunked, and the turn of our memory as well. Oh, the burst D! My goodness! Brusco just disappeared. Dreams, though. Flicker Implosion, not connecting Spear of Alpha. Bringing Irad all the way back to the team, but the team is going to go to the other side where Irad is going to be soloed completely by Annabelle. Octa, Purify, turn to the fan in the back. The base is open, down. Brusco is down as well. No more help. Skylar with a Purify, Nako with an nature, but now in the back, gets in with a torn apart memory, gets the final kill over to Octa, and they equalize the series. The EVOS fans roar in the building. It will not be a clean sweep.
Not today, say the White Tigers. They have successfully forced a game number 3 in the first El Clasico, or the Classic Derby of MPL ID Season 13. And it was a stop. A 10k plus gold lead for EVOS.